Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a kind and gentle girl named Cinderella. She was known for her sweet nature and graceful spirit. Unfortunately, after her father passed away, Cinderella's life took a turn for the worse. Her stepmother, along with her two stepsisters, they were unkind and treated Cinderella as if she was a servant in her own home. They made her do all the chores, from cleaning the house, tending to the animals. But despite the hardships, Cinderella remained hopeful and never lost sight of her gentle spirit. One day, an invitation arrived at their doorstep. The king was hosting a grand royal ball. The king was searching for a suitable bride for his prince. Cinderella's stepsisters, they were overjoyed and immediately began preparing for the event. They selfishly demanded that Cinderella help them in choosing their gowns and getting ready. And as the day of the ball approached, Cinderella was working tirelessly to make sure her stepsisters looked their best. She sewed and tailored their dresses. All the while, she was dreaming of attending the ball herself. Yet her stepmother and stepsisters never once even considered taking her along. The fateful night of the ball arrived, and as her stepmother and stepsisters departed in their splendid carriage, Cinderella couldn't help but feel a deep longing. She gazed out at the starry night and whispered a wish. Suddenly, a shimmering light filled the room, and before her stood a kind of magical fairy godmother. With a wave of her wand, she transformed Cinderella's tattered clothes into a breathtaking gown. She turned her worn-out shoes into delicate glass slippers. The fairy godmother even conjured a magnificent carriage, pulled by 6 white horses. However, she warned Cinderella, "This magic shall only last until midnight. You must leave the ball before the clock strikes 12. For when the spell is broken, everything will return to its former state." Cinderella was overwhelmed with gratitude. She thanked her fairy godmother, and she set out to the royal ball. As she entered the palace, all eyes turned towards her. She was the epitome of grace and beauty. The prince, captivated by Cinderella's presence, approached her and asked for a dance. They glided across the ballroom floor, lost in each other's eyes and company. Cinderella felt as if she was in a dream. Time seemed to fly by, and as the clock neared midnight, Cinderella remembered the warning. With a regretful smile, she bid the prince farewell and fled from the palace. In her haste, one of her glass slippers slipped off, but she dared not to go back for it, for the chimes of midnight tolled in the distance. The next day, The prince set out to find the mysterious maiden who had captured his heart. He visited every house in the kingdom, seeking the one whose foot would perfectly fit into this glass slipper. When he arrived at Cinderella's home, her stepsisters tried in vain to squeeze their feet into the dainty shoe, but it was no use. Then it was Cinderella's turn. She delicately placed her foot into the slipper, and it fit perfectly. The prince knew then that he had found his true love. Overjoyed, he took Cinderella with him to the palace, where they were to be married in a grand ceremony. And so, Cinderella's days of hardship came to an end, replaced by a life filled with love, happiness, and the promise of a happily ever after. The end. Good night. Sweet dreams.